Welcome back, everyone, to Wolves After Dark. I've got the neck beard, the old camera back. Good vibes.
Got the neck beard.
Neck beard, yeah, we got
and
it
the regular
all going
beard.
on. Timberwolves beat the Lakers. We didn't lose to the Lakers. Didn't give them
Man.
their first win.
Are these like new gray hairs? I got them all tonight.
You know, I was actually watching an old video of us, and both of our hair was like completely different. That was when mine was like almost like ponytail length, and you had like the really long beard down here. It was from like 2 years ago. But that was fun memories. But yeah,
stressful game.
It was. The first half especially was really stressful.
Yeah,
I didn't like
it. But we closed it out 111 to 102. Maybe the most important game of the season so far, but probably in franchise history. I feel like we could have given the Lakers their first win and off with our heads as opposed to the Lakers' heads, right? So, like, oh my God, the Lakers chose to put Westbrook off the bench and start Troy Brown on Cat. They must have watched Dylan Brooks' film and like realized that smalls can affect Cat.
Seriously,
and it kind of started to feel that way early on in the onsets of the game. Cat wasn't really fully involved or engaged, but he was like, kind of passing, dishing the rock. It was pretty cool to see. But
that was
we find a way, a must-win game for us to find momentum to swing in our direction, not just go 500 the whole way. And I'm tip my hat off to the team because I think this was a gritty, grimy, gutsy game to pull out. We looked bad and we still found a way to win.
Yeah, I think, and this was one of those games where I think we looked bad, and if you watch the first half, you were kind of like, man, this is one of those games the Timberwolves is going to lose because they're just not taking it seriously. It's really sloppy and it's just bad. But there might have been a part of it going into the half tied against the Lakers. I think they went to the locker room and they had the discussion of like, we cannot let ourselves be the first win of the Lakers this season. Like if we were up by 10, I think it would be like, oh yeah, we got this, But instead it was like, okay, we have to be serious. And we came out and won I think the first third quarter of the season, 28 to 25 or something like that. I can't remember. We won by 3 points. That's all I know. So finally we get a little bit of a third quarter attendance.
Well, yeah, we show up after halftime.
Yeah,
post halftime adjustments were made, and showed itself in production on the court. I think it's great to see us win a close game. It was a close game throughout. It never exceeded like 10 points.
Yeah, no, it wasn't much more than that.
We never had some grace, like room to just like mess up. Every costly turnover was a basket by Westbrook or LeBron on the other end, or Troy Brown 3 or something. And every turnover on their end was us trying to figure it out. Like we weren't in sync, and it showed. And I think even, Jim Pete on the broadcast showed a couple plays where certain people were cutting or certain people were passing when they're not supposed to be in the spots that they were in. And yeah, we're just figuring it out. And teams like the Warriors are figuring it out right now too, and they have the luxury of having all those players, all those rings on their fingers to also like trust in the process. And we are trying to trust in each other. And my biggest takeaway is that we haven't found it yet. We haven't found anything yet. I think that there are certain pairings that are there. Ant and Cat are kind of working well together. I was wondering if that was actually true, but it felt like they were working well together. And D'Lo and Gobert have chemistry, but like without Gobert, we lose this game. Without like certain plays that were going and Ant taking shots and making them just because of heroics, we lose this game. So we have a lot of catching up to do to the rest of the NBA. And even though a team that's now 0-5, they're dangerous. They are a very deadly, dangerous team. LeBron even like almost took this game over, at points. So, yeah.
And, I think, Gerald says, I'm so glad I was wrong about predicting that the Lakers would win this game. But I said to my dad, we were watching the game together, and I was like, this is more important. Like, it's important for the Timberwolves to win we're still getting used to each other, still getting that chemistry that you're talking about. But this Lakers team is a good team. I mean, they have the potential to be a good team. And to have them start 0-5, I think is really good for the other teams in the West. I mean, because now the Lakers are going to have to fight up against the media as well as like fan expectations and just their own expectations, because 0-5 is crazy. That's kind of wild for the players that they have on the names that they have on that team. That's wild. But yeah, I don't know. The one thing that I kept thinking though, like LeBron came out and looked good from the start, and I think John Krasinski before the game tweeted something out that I just kind of laughed at first, but it then seemed to be somewhat serious. They were like, "Oh, LeBron is out there hammering dunks in pregame or something." Like, I'm like, I'm sure he does that every game, but he came out and he actually had a purpose tonight, and it looked pretty good. Russ, as I've kind of alluded to in my prediction, I said that he was going to get a 20-point triple double. He didn't get, I don't know if he got 20 points, but he got like
He was
15 or
close.
16.
Yeah,
And
he got
then
18.
18. Okay.
Yeah,
And
18 and 8.
Okay. Yeah, it wasn't terrible. But yeah, it was other than the first half, I enjoyed this game. And the second half was fun to watch. And to go, this was a game where we kind of had a lot of people go off. We haven't had this game. We talked about this all last season where it was like, oh, we maybe only had one game where D'Lo, Ant, and Cat all had like 20 points each. And tonight, I actually don't know what Cat ended up with. I assume he ended up over 20.
Yeah, 21.
21. Ant had 29, and Gobert ended up with 22 or something
Yeah.
like that. So, and I think D'Lo only had like low teens or maybe 11 or something like that. I can't remember.
Yep.
But, that's a pretty well-rounded game for your big four, if you want to call it that. That's better than any game we saw of the big three last year. So, yeah, I'm excited to see that. And, like you said, this is the beginning of our season. We're still getting chemistry going together. And thankfully we were 4-2 during that. We came into the season saying, you know what, if we can win these games, even if it's sloppy, that's a good thing because we're learning. And these are winnable games. There's no reason that we should lose really any of the first 7 games other than being sloppy and things like that, which has happened. So so we were talking after the last game about our feelings on like the panic button. The panic button might not be, my hand is off the panic button now. But how are you?
What is it on now?
Well, it's undisclosed location.
Giggity.
But where are you on your not panic scale, but how are you feeling? We're 4-2. We talked after the first 7 games, we would hope to be 5-2, at least a winning record. Where are you right now on the team panic level wise?
To me, these first 10 games, 15 games are an extension training camp, figuring out it feels like it doesn't feel like a new team, but it feels like with Gobert in there, with Cat figuring out a new role, like essentially a brand new role for him. It's going to come in waves where we're going to be frustrated. We're going to lose games that we're not supposed to lose. And we're going to think about the panic button. If we were to have lost this game and lost to the Spurs game, and instead of being 4-2, being like 1-4, like 2-5, there would be some stress that we as fans would see on the court, and they would have to deal with as a team and as an organization. And the panic would be high, not at an all-time high, but it would be high. But even if we went like 2-14, like they would be the same kind of level of like threat on our franchise and like our fandom. Luckily, we don't have to deal with that yet. We are figuring it out. We're growing as a team, and good teams win grindy games that we have no identity, and we fall back on our basic levels of instinct, which is just talent alone.
Yes.
Just ISO, nonsense. The last game was our best game because we passed the rock. We had 30 plus assists. We looked like a team that played for each other, that wanted everyone to succeed. And this game, it didn't seem like the game, like no one was really taking over the game unless Ant did, or unless Jalen tried. And it was cool to see that, we're trying to force feed the ball to Gobert. And one of my another takeaway for me is just similar to the bigs of the NBA where you don't have calls played for them. They just get their stuff. They get their, Vando gets his stats, right? Gobert gets 20 and 20. You don't run a play for him and he gets 20 and 20.
Yeah.
And so it's funny, like it almost is okay that there's ISO basketball because the ball, if it rubs off the rim, Gobert's there for the rebound.
Yeah, no. And, I loved what you said about it just coming down to talent at a point, because I had the same thought. I was like, we're just getting to a point where like our talent is just beating the Lakers right now. Like we're not necessarily 100% cohesive yet. And it's just like we have enough talent to push that needle just further enough into the W column. like, so we have these people that are like Rudy Gobert getting 20 rebounds in the game. We have Cat shooting threes like we've wanted him to for a long time. We have Ant driving and finishing, taking threes, taking mid-range, doing it all. So that's fun. Yeah, basketball Maven, that's a pretty hot take after a loss and starting 0-5. But
well, we just won our first championship of the season, so it makes sense. Long-time listener, long-time commentator, basketball Maven asks, or it doesn't even ask, just like professes that the Lakers are better than the Wolves. And man, what are your thoughts on that?
On what? Sorry,
true, false?
On the Lakers?
Yeah, just being better. They're just better.
Yeah, I don't know.
They have more lakes. They won all their championships in LA.
They won all the.
They keep talking about history like it's today, and it's just amazing, right?
Yeah.
I can't wait for LeBron to not play because of rest. I love that so much.
Yeah. I also, just because basketball Maven got us on this topic, also apparently not a big late night fan.
Oh man, sucks for him.
Gobert, it's too bad. But the Lakers, I don't know what they do, because they're kind of in a situation where they have zero future, and the players that they have on their team are getting older to the point where I don't know what they're going to get if they were to even try to blow up their team, and maybe not blow up, but even just like trade off pieces. Like, what do they get? The only thing they can do is trade LeBron. I don't know what else they could do.
Oh, they can't even trade LeBron. They have a no trade clause for LeBron through them and the rest of the season. The 5L Lakers have no future. I was trolling, unfortunately trolling, but it was fun for 5 seconds. A Lakers post-game chat where they were just like, yeah, we got to trade everyone for Wembanyama. Yeah, let's just get Wembanyama and start the rebuild now. And hot take, in the freezer, there's no chance that you guys get Wembanyama. No one's trading with you. No one's trading Westbrook unless they want to tank, and they're not giving you tank-worthy assets.
Yeah, they're not going to give you a pick, because guess what? Your pick is with the Pelicans, and the Pelicans are going to get Wembanyama. So like that's where we're at right now.
Right.
I mean, I think if we look at Tankathon, I think they are one of the last few teams that is still winless. So, I mean,
oh yeah, the Magic won tonight. So it's
Magic
the last
won,
team.
And who else is the other team? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's maybe a surprising team, and it's crazy that you know this stuff.
They put it on the broadcast at a point. I can't remember what the third team was.
Kings, but I don't know if I view the Kings as winless. I think they're just a couple shots away from winning a couple of those games. So
yeah, they're
better than being. But I guess according to basketball, even they're not as good as the Lakers. So.
That's true. I mean, nobody is. So, but Jelson, how are we feeling? We're feeling good.
What's up, Jelson?
I think we're about to jump right into that tier list. Are you ready?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's go. Let me share this. I forgot to do this beforehand, so let me do this now. Boom, boom, boom. Make sure I'm not sharing anything crazy.
I feel like I want to hear. I don't want to hear that name anymore. Sohan, right? Like the Spurs, blonde hair, big.
Yeah. Also,
killing us.
Who just got waived from the Spurs?
I don't know what. Joshua Primo.
Yeah, what? He wasn't cooking us bad, but he was good. So he must have done something insane.
Yeah, and they're being mums is the word. And someone tweeted out something about, I don't even want to talk about it because that's just fucking speculation.
I don't want to speculate, but like nobody just gets cut like that as a rookie. Like that doesn't make, or not, he's not a rookie, but like a second-year player.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I heard that there was something really bad that happened. So that's all I'll say. And apparently Jake Erickson, what's up? We've missed you. Thank you for joining us.
Jake Erickson
says he's leaving for mental health or something. And I hope, man, if that's what it is and that's all it is, I really do hope the best for him. Because
I hope he
was grooming to be like the next player for them. And I was
seriously, he looked great. So hopefully he's okay. But all right.
And Coverino, by the way, it'd be awesome if all the new people here and old as well like, share, subscribe to this show. We do this after every game, most games, and if not, we do a 10-minute thing and our computer fries up, and then we call it quits.
That's definitely didn't happen last show. Definitely did not happen last show.
Cobarino says LeBron and Clutch Sports ruined the Lakers for a Mickey Mouse ring. LMAO. That was quite the ring, though.
I think I like Cobarino. I like you.
I like you too.
Right.
Agreed. The bubble trophy is BS. Yeah, that was an interesting season.
That was.
It was a really cool playoff series, though.
I don't remember it, so I'm just gonna pretend like it didn't happen.
But we're mostly talking about the Timberwolves here.
Yes, we are. And let me get these players in order here, somewhat of an order.
Did you? I have a question for you as you're ordering or shuffling the tier list. Anyone noteworthy not play tonight or play tonight that you were interested in?
For us?
Yeah.
Well, I'm still interested to see Kyle Anderson more, and then Jordan McLaughlin didn't play either.
Both of them are injured, so that's why they didn't play, and that was interesting, I suppose. Austin Rivers gets some time tonight, and I thought it was needed, much needed time. But Naz Reid doesn't get any time tonight.
That's true. That's interesting. I didn't even notice that, but that is kind of a big one. Interesting. I wonder why. I mean, I guess they don't really have a ton of bigs, so not that we're using Naz as like some physical force.
They have no bigs.
They have no bigs. So.
If they don't have AD out there, which is going to be a guaranteed 30 games of the season, they have Winston Gabriel. And if they don't have, Wenyen Gabriel. And if they don't have Wenyen Gabriel out there, who looked nice, by the way, tonight, they don't have anyone. They have Troy Brown Jr., who was a shooting guard in college.
Yeah. And he was going nuts on us. I don't know what that was like, that typical Timberwolves player that just goes off for, or like opponent player that just you never have heard of, and then they go for a career high or something like that. He was that player tonight. But
Jalen Noel and Taurean Prince are going to be our bench players. We don't really talk about all the bench players tonight. It was cool to see Bryn Forbes get a shot up tonight and get in. But yeah, Jalen Noel, 6 points, 20 minutes, 3 for 12. 5 assists, though, 5 boards. It's really cool to see our guards getting back and, grinding out boards and getting those, and sometimes offensive boards, too. It's nice to see.
They were. There were a couple offensive boards.
Yeah. So I have a grade. We have a grade in 3, 2, 1.
B. Or not B, C. I don't know why I said B. I don't know what I'm doing.
So I almost said D, but I'm going to go with the C because we won. And I think in a lot of ways he spelled minutes for D'Lo. And D'Lo's antics this game weren't the best or the most IQ worthy. It was kind of just like forcing everything, and I just felt like he was missing several steps tonight.
Yeah,
Jalen was just like a sub to bring in fresh air, and even though he was asked to be he's asked to be a gunslinger, it's just his shot wasn't falling tonight.
But he had those offensive rebounds, and he had some putbacks, and it was just, I mean, even though he only had, you said 6 points? Yeah. I mean, that still is that it felt surprisingly good to me for how bad his stats looked tonight, which, I don't know. I felt his impact, even though it wasn't that much on the scorecard, but
TP for 3. That's his new thing whenever Jedediah talks about Taurean Prince in the game. 13 points in 26 minutes, 5 for 10 from the field, including 5 rebounds, 3 steals, and most importantly, defense on LeBron.
Yes. Multiple times.
Our grade in 3, 2, 1. A.
Yeah, I'm high B at least. I mean, this was a good game for Taurean Prince, and I just have so far this season just loved his contribution. He had a pretty good stretch there was a stretch of 15 games last season where he was really good defensively and he was hitting a bunch of threes. Last season, I don't think he started well. This season, he's starting well, and it looks fun. And it's the kind of player you need off the bench. like in this team with how stacked our, I mean, it's so weird to say stacked, but like how like good our starting lineup is. You can't just have a fall off to nothing on the bench. And Torian is being like a legit like sixth man for us. Jalen is probably a little bit more of our sixth man, but like Torian is doing a little bit more defensively, and he's hitting a lot of threes. So yeah, I've just liked his game so far. I could be convinced to an A. We don't have the tier list up in Discord yet, so I'm just gonna do an A. Nobody else can sway me. Oh, we lost Ashwin. He's back. Hello.
Hey.
Sorry, I didn't know I was talking to nobody.
I became a potato. So I'm back. I think TP's best asset was availability, of course. But like what I caught you saying was that he started poorly last year and he's running it this year. I think his role has been kind of solidified this year. Like the offseason conversations with Finch, he needs to be more of a leader. I think he's just kind of like playing in his best light tonight these days because his role seems like it's way more defined. Yeah, he's the backup 3-4. Yeah, Naz Reid and other bigs aren't coming in now. It's Taurean Prince is the first big off the bench. It's like nice to see, and he's like a big hand, like a steady hand to our bench. When we're not scoring, when we look like a G League team out there sometimes, at least it's nice to see him kind of hustling, getting O boards or steals and deflections, playing defense as he always does, hitting 40% for three as he will probably do, and spell minutes for Jaden, who's going to inevitably get in foul trouble at times. And the 1-2 of Jaden and Taurean Prince is like maybe my favorite forward combination in the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Well, on to the starters. Who we got first?
Yeah, let's go with Jaden. Yeah, speaking of which, Jaden McDaniels, a little bit under 30 minutes, 6 points. That's unfortunate. However, both of those were threes, and team high 4 block shots. I think there should have been 5 or 7 or 8, but Lakers are tallying stats, so they dumped it down a little bit. He ends up falling out and does a whole lot of nothing else, but like a rebound and a couple assists. Mm-hmm. But yeah, let's do it. 3, 2, 1. A.
Whoa. Okay. I was close to a B just because there were a lot of fouls, but I did think that a lot of the fouls were BS.
Yeah, classic BS fouls.
Yeah, and like LeBron fouls too, where it's like he's just like playing defense. And LeBron like pushes off on him on that one time. And then there was the other one that was reviewed where Rudy shoved him slightly. And I mean, I don't mean to say slightly as in like, oh, there was like he bumped into him. I mean, like their jerseys touched a little bit and they continued to keep the foul. That was wild to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was impactful defensively tonight, even though he wasn't there offensively other than those 2 threes. I'd say for me, this is probably still, I know I said C. I could probably come up to a B just because I think although this was a good game for him and he did keep some people in check, and it was fun to see him keep LeBron in check, who is 60 pounds or 70 pounds heavier or whatever Jim Pete said. But like, that's impressive. But I also have like high expectations for Jaden, and I want him to, 1, not be falling out of games, even though some of that was not his fault tonight. And 2, like you'd hope for a little bit more offensive production, but like we had so many people producing offensively that maybe it wasn't as needed. So I guess I'd finalize myself on a B.
Sure. Before I kind of give you my little like 5 cents on Jaden, thank you MBB for doing the tier list in the Discord tonight. We have just thankless, fans in our Discord, friends of the show to the Discord, that do nightly tier lists in our Discord, and you should go vote on them because it helps kind of like with the data, with the algorithms. The algorithms, you got to make sure it happens.
We're all about the algorithms.
Yeah, we're all about it. The algies. Jaden was awesome tonight. I think him and Gobert were an excellent tandem on both like guarding the best like offensive player because he was guarding literally everyone, Jaden. But then Gobert in the back to kind of anyone that would bypass or get past Jaden. There was like that extra layer of help. 6 fouls sucks, but I think they scored 30, 40 more points in the paint without Jaden out there. He had 4 block shots that were mostly all remarkable. And huge momentum swinging blocks, honestly, because at any given point we could have been down 5 or 6 in a game like this, so tight. Having to rely on that stuff, and it's kind of funny. Like, he's learning how to play within how loose or how tight these refs are calling his game. But LeBron gets away with certain things, and you just have to kind of take it for what it is. Like, LeBron and Westbrook get the calls, and we don't, and that's all right. We have to move on and live with it. But Cat and Gobert, they should be getting calls, but they don't get calls. And Cat should be doing things that are natural to post players. Jaden's doing it. Jaden is playing with his arms wide up. Cat is playing with his arms forward. It's really small things that I see and I take note of, because it's Jaden's gonna be all right. The habits, the forms, the defensive forms that he takes on, he can take on anyone, and it's awesome. He's a little skinny. It's okay. He's going to grow in his body. He's growing taller, apparently. And that length is going to be it's so deceiving, because they're going to feel like they're beyond, they're past him, and he comes in and blocks the shot anyways.
Mm-hmm. By the way, welcome back, Renzi. I remember you from last year. Welcome back. But yeah, I put him in A. I didn't have strong enough feelings, and you did, so I put him in A. Who's up next? Oops, I'm scrolling.
Yeah, it's not a stat-friendly A, right? Just looking at a box score and kind of assessing it.
That's kind of a normal thing for Jaden.
Yeah. Who's next is going to be D'Angelo Russell, 31 minutes, 11 points, 6 steals. 7 assists, 4 rebounds. He made a couple threes. Grades in 3, 2, 1. C.
We're all over the place tonight.
We're all over the place. That's cool.
This was I'm thinking about it now. I didn't give myself enough time to think about it, but I guess the reason I'm giving you a B is because I didn't feel like I needed a lot more from him, but I also didn't feel overwhelmed with the amazing things. You said he had 6 steals, and I can't believe that, because I remember a couple, but that seems insane. And I think that's what kind of changed my upper C's into a B, was that's a ton of steals. But yeah, he wasn't felt offensively a ton tonight. He did have a couple nice dimes to Rudy. One in particular that I'm remembering off the top of my head, where he actually did a pick and roll with him and got the ball to him instead of just dribbling around. So that was fun. And yeah, it kind of felt like he played within the flow of the game. So maybe that is just an average score, but I guess I don't really have any strong opinions on D'Lo either.
Yeah, I just felt like what he was doing to our offense was disrupting our offense. Actually, I think he was a little too much D'Lo, a little bit too much D'Lo forcing it to Gobert, a little bit too much D'Lo forcing it to. It's our turn. Then he takes several plays off where he doesn't touch the ball and lets Ant cook and lets Ant just kind of work. There's no play, and it's a tall order. Like we were talking about earlier, Cat has a huge role, right? A huge shift in his role. D'Lo, I might be singing this every game. His role has changed. He's older. He's less athletic, or maybe he's just there's no athleticism, but he's crafty, and he needs to figure out how to get snappy ball movement as his priorities 1 and 2 and 3, and getting everyone involved, and it includes himself. But in the offense, I don't want to see a whole lot of D'Lo taking a lot of shots to the mid range and missing, and having really herky jerky looking shots that just look off and clanging off the front of the rim. Those misses turns into transitions, turn into LeBron dunks, Westbrook dunks. Those are turnovers. Essentially, those feel like turnovers. And I felt like a lot of his shots were just rushed, not great. He doesn't have his legs under him, so they fall short. And so then the transition just happens for the other team. And conversely, he's not quick, so he's not really there offensively to be in transition when we get those deflections. So, yeah, I think what I really like to see is this 7-2 turnover to assist ratio, or assist to turnover ratio. Keep that there. I don't want to see a 4 or 5 turnover game. At least it was not that. And yeah, 15 shots. I hope you make 6 or 7 of them, right? And I hope most of those are threes, honestly. So it's a C for me, and it would have been a D. Borderline watch if we lost.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is one thing. Like, all these things change if we lose dramatically. But all right, who's up next?
Godfrey, every time. Godfrey, 4 for 15 shooting. Where's the ice? Well, that was with some other players tonight.
We left it in the last game.
Let's go with Karl-Anthony Towns, the post with the most shooting from the outside.
The big
37 the big purr. Yeah, I like that. 37 minutes, 21 points, couple turnovers, who cares? 7 assists, 8 rebounds, and 3 threes. Our grades in 3, 2, 1.
A?
B, almost A. Yeah, I was like high B.
This is kind of weird. This is the highest that Carl's been all season. And
Yeah,
it's kind of a weird grade for me, and maybe weird just because this is more the game that I want to see from Towns. You know, this isn't necessarily like a wildly amazing game for him. Like, this is, I mean, close to a triple double is good for Cat, but like all these other stats, but like points wise, individually, rebounds wise, individually, assists individually, even like he's had games like this, but this just felt like good basketball from Cat for the most part. Making good shots, taking threes, like catch and shoot threes. That's what I want to see from the self-proclaimed best shooting big, you know? So it's like, that's what I want to see. And we got to see it a lot tonight. And then he didn't have any, like, I can't think of any egregious penalties that he had or like turnovers or anything. It just felt good.
1 foul. That's his best stat line of the night.
Or penalty, as I
and
said.
also he carried us in the fourth quarter when we were like without an identity. It was great to see. Jack Hurst says B plus. The great one says 15 points in the fourth. And even Gerald says Cat's an A, and that's rare.
Whoa.
Let me just talk quickly about how frustrating it feels when Cat is frustrated and then it has to play the third, fourth, fifth game of I talk to the refs, I bitch at the refs, I bitch at the crowd, I demonstrate everything, visually to everyone to see how much I'm complaining about everything, and then he doesn't do anything else. He just does that. Mm-hmm. It is so frustrating. It's borderline unwatchable. Then there's this like dual personality where he shuts the fuck up, zipper locked mouth, and he just plays the game. And when he's not featured, he's kind of amazing.
Yes.
Like, he's amazing when he's not the focal point. Like, I loved that he was a fulcrum for passing. He's passing, point meow. I would love to see that. When he's in control, when he's not fucking through the legs behind the back or like over the head as he's fading away into Finch's laps, like, it's great. It's great basketball. And I think I want to see more of this style of Cat. It's going to take a lot of him to like somber up, like not play with the passion that he wants to play with, the gangliness that he wants to flail around and kick out with. Him shooting threes, him making threes out, kicking out, that's natural. That's what he does. He does shoot threes without kicking out. That's natural. I want to see double the takes from the 3-point line. And it sucks that he might not be getting the rebounds that he likes to fill the stat sheets with, but his best asset is from the perimeter and being available on that, like, the drive and kick kind of thing, because no one's better than Cat at shooting the three in those kind of pressure situations. So really happy to see that development. I love the Rudy Cat dynamic that's kind of budding. It's kind of growing. It's not there yet. It's not clean. But it's there. It's forming, and I think come March, April, we're going to see a best version of it. It's going to be awesome to see.
I hope so.
This is the Cat I need to see moving forward.
Yes, 100%. It's kind of funny, by the way. Hello, Jace. Welcome back. It's almost like you don't I recall certain memories from this game of Cat just because they were so normal and not like crazy, like the behind the back passes and things like that. But like, it was kind of this is like a pedestrian game for Cat. Like, this is just solid. And if he could play like this is a championship Cat, honestly. And on top of that, we're talking about him not getting all like hyped up and screaming and passion and all that stuff. We're playing the Lakers, probably one of the only teams that he's going to really want to be like that. I mean, we see all these clips that people joke about with Cat where he is against the Lakers, where he like charges into LeBron, who flops, but charges into LeBron, and then he's like screaming and yelling up and down the court, and he says, that's when he says the 10 toes deep thing or whatever.
10 toes down.
10 toes down, not deep. But that's what that comes from. And to see that cat versus tonight's cat was like a wild difference. Yeah, I love this game from him, and this is how he wins me back over.
Oh my God, completely. You know, another really cool thing, and we'll talk about Ant in a second. I think Ant was kind of, hyping up Cat a bit. And I think there's some like on court dynamics that need to change, and it needs to come from leaders. And maybe it's got to be Ant, because we don't have that Pat Beverly out there that's like, hyping up our players, shoving our players, into the echelons of tiers that they belong in. It's like, we got to support each other, and it's really cool to see Ant kind of like making gestures at Cat, saying like, hey, yeah, man, you the man, you nice, like things like that. It's really cool to see. And I think Cat is one of those people that needs to be supported, needs to be elevated, needs to be talked about, needs to be promoted, needs to be cradled, but then also given a leash to cut off and like say pop off. Like that's that type of player. He always needs that, and that's okay. He's not a natural born leader, but he's like, I play like my heart depends on it, on the line every time. This is my favorite version of Cat, where we don't look at him, we don't think about him, we're not frustrated with him, and he's doing the right thing. And when we were frustrated, when we were not working, we were not clicking on offense in the fourth quarter, he took over.
He did.
That's poise, man. That's poise. For not getting the ball throughout the whole game, like that sucks. You're like the best shooting big, whatever, and all-star and all that stuff. To like taking over the fourth, that's great.
That's crazy. And yes, headshot, we did give him an A. I know it's hard to believe. The Cat haters gave Cat an A. It's his first grade above a D this year, I think. So, but this was a good game. This was really good. And if we see more Cat like this season, count me in. Count me in. Big time.
Yeah, I'm more of a dog person myself, right? So I'm not a cat lover.
Yeah.
But not needing to hear the meows and just seeing the product on the court really makes me kind of fall in love with this type of player, because this is going to carry us. Yeah, he could be our best player of the night, but on any given night, but he's not our best player anymore. And it's like going to humble. It's going to take some time for him to kind of come to terms with that. Anyways, awesome shit from Cat.
Awesome. Who's up next?
Rudy Gobert, who I wish I saved for last, but 37 minutes, 22 points, 21 rebounds, a couple assists. He missed some free throws, but of those rebounds, 8 of them were offensive. 7 for 11 from the field. He's always going to be routinely at the top of efficiency. Our grades in 3, 2, 1. A.
A?
Yeah. We don't win this game without him.
No.
I think there's some like Butterfingers tendencies with him, with like when he gets passes that are not like fluid, where they're not clean, they're not crispy passes. But when he's featured in the offense, I struggle to like figure it out. But when he gets those O boards and just puts the ball back up, all I care about, he would be an A1 if he's dunking that shit.
Yeah.
If he's dunking all those putbacks, it'd be so. The dunks take players out of the games, man. It's awesome. But love to see this. We are lost without him a lot of times,
and he had a bunch of free throws tonight.
8 of 12.
That's crazy. That's crazy for him. So yeah, I'll take that. And it's crazy. Like this is more of what we were expecting in the beginning of the season. We had that 1 or 2 bad games in a row of Rudy, and that was just after we had said, I don't know how Rudy could ever go really low. This is just like what I expect from Rudy for most of the season. Maybe not 20 points and 20 rebounds plus each game, but like this kind of play every game. So this is a good game. Not a lot to say. I mean, it was just very standard Rudy Gobert, like rebounds, offensive rebounds, and putbacks. So
yeah, my final comment is a weird comment, I will say. He's expensive. He's very expensive. He's going to be expensive for the rest of his career. He's a role player, right? He doesn't get plays called for him, but yet we're paying him $30+ million a year. That's wild, right?
Yeah.
Patrick Beverly on our team would be this remarkable presence, but rarely was he like doing it on the court, right? Rarely was he like, all right, I got like 4 steals tonight. I'm making my money tonight. I'm 10 double digits in points, right? He was getting those threes occasionally. He'd get a couple like key, momentum plays and stuff like that. but he was rarely like the stable presence.
Mhm.
And he'd get beat a bunch also, and he was kind of inconsistent in health. Like that sucks. That's like that just happens. But he missed like 20, 30 games last year, I think. Gobert's out there all the time. He's like 100% out there, and we're paying for that kind of energy through a different lens. We're a different player, and instead of a leader from by barking and vocalizing everything and propping everyone up, you just have this stable genius in the front court. Just like at any given moment, I could take this game over and I could block this shot for you.
Yeah.
Leading from behind.
And that's what I love about it. All right, before we get to Ant, our last player that we're going to be grading tonight, if you're new here, please leave a like. Subscribe to the channel. We do this after every game, unless our internet goes out, which didn't happen the last time. But yes, on to Anthony Edwards. How'd he do?
Also, join the Discord. I don't know if you said it, but do that.
Yes.
I think it's awesome. We have remarkable in-game chats. I was a little bit negative because my hands were like this all game, and my butt was fully clenched, and I'm not going to demonstrate that for you. But it was just a really stressful game, and it was needed. I think we needed this game to kind of dust off, the butterflies of what is our team is and potentially could be. And it was great to see this because we could either win big or get swept. This was a gritty win, and we don't win this game without A1 from day one, Anthony Edwards, 38 minutes, 29 points, 4 rebounds, 4 free throws, a couple threes, timely threes, and remarkable defense.
Yeah.
I loved it. And I think he had this weird part of the game where he switched it on in the second half.
Yes.
I didn't really see much of it in the first half. And I just felt like, it's time for him to take over, and he did. Our grades for him in 3, 2, 1.
A. Yep. This is just a great game from Ant. Similar to what we said to Carl, similar to what we said to Rudy. If we can get this out of him every game, I love this season. He's doing everything. This is the all-around player. This is the player that we have to build around because he has the ability to do everything: defend, hit threes, drive to the basket, finish through contact, hit step back mid-range shots. And then you see that block that was a block, but they called a foul at the end of the game on Russell Westbrook, where he literally jumped 5 feet in the air just to grab the ball out of Westbrook's hands. Westbrook was so embarrassed after that he couldn't even look up and after he got blocked. That was incredible. That to me was almost as exciting as the dunk he had against the Heat last year. Even though I knew the game was already in the bag, I just jumped up out of my seat when he had that block. And similar to that dunk, I'm counting it as a block. That was a block to me. So that was one of the best blocks I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, it was sexy for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this version of Ant. I think it does. We're going to use this term because they're using the term. It sticks with him quite a bit. He does this ISO stuff. He does a lot of it's just my time right now. And I think in a game like this, it's healthy to get that out because we aren't flowing with any offensive identity yet. We don't have that identity yet. So it's okay that there's this, as I said in the beginning of the broadcast, this instinct to just take over the game or try or attempt to take over the game. And the ball's typically in his hands. The ball's not typically in Cat's hands, right? The ball's not typically in another player's hands. So it's in Ant's hands to figure it out. And his natural driven instinct is to shoot over you and take over the game. And I think, there was a LeBron matchup and he had this insane dribble past him. And then he heard the crowds, the oohs and the ahs from the crowd. And he's like, oh, I got to take this. And he missed it, and a couple other things against Westbrook. He did that and he missed it. That's just I will say, what an alpha wants to be. I want that type of player on my team where he's no shits given, taking over the game. And I think I also saw some really solid playmaking decisions. He'd pass it to TP, or TP would have the hockey assist to someone else to make the three. And just more development from this end rather than watching him ball hawk from the corner. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. No, I agree with everything you said. It was just a great game from Ant. Just huge. And to have this many performances from Ant this early in the season, 29, 30, 30, another 30, And then he had a game, even though he only had like 10 points, it was almost like a triple double. So, he's had like interesting games this season. And interesting fact from Jack in the chat, Ant has 0 dunks in 5 games. I don't know if that's true or not, but it seems like he hasn't dunked it very much, which I almost feel as if he may be using that to an advantage for people that think that he's going to dunk so that he can kind of do his Euro and get kind of an easy bucket real quick. But the Euro's working. Just everything's working. So I love it. It's exciting. By the way, if you are new here, I know I just said this. We're only 5 subscribers away from 300 subscribers. So if you want to be part of Wolves After Dark history, hit that sub button. But
no, it means a lot to us. Like we're doing this for us to get better at just like public speaking and getting better just to do a thing together as friends that are like, separated by state lines and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like with you guys, it's like it feels like we're building a community, and it feels like we're doing this together. So it's awesome to see.
Yeah, it's fun to have everybody. Fun to have everybody come back. Like we see Headshot come back in here and give us crap for hating on Cat and stuff like that. And we've got like the regulars like Gerald. JBX is out tonight, but we've got everybody here, and it's just fun to kind of talk Wolves after the game and have like a live place to do that. So, yeah. Well, that's all the players were grading tonight. Next game, a little preview into the next game, anyways. We play on Sunday or Monday. Maybe it's Monday. I can't remember. I got to look now. We play on
Sunday against San Antonio. Oh my God.
The Spurs again without Josh Primo.
Oh, they're gonna be lit.
And who even knows? I mean, it seems like they're trying to tank already because they're taking players out of games. It's just the weirdest thing. Going into that game, obviously not knowing who's in and out and whatever. I know this is an on-the-spot question, but rapid fire. What do you think? You think that's a win for us, or do you think we crash back down and kind of let off the gas a little bit?
Yeah. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know this team very well. I feel like I'm learning with you. I think the idea of it popping off multiple games in a row, I haven't seen it, but we just saw it like back-to-back 30-point nights.
Mm-hmm.
We need that healthy dose. They have Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell and some strong defenders on the wing. So it's if his shot isn't on, like we might struggle. So then we have to rely on Cat, and Cat has had issues with the bigs of San Antonio. I don't remember his name. The white dude, number 25. Anyways, and Josh Richardson has like really come to form in San Antonio. So I'm looking at the others to like take over this game, and if the others kind of come to play and really rear its head, like hopefully Kyle Anderson's back, then we'll take the game easily. And actually, we should take that game easily. There should be no doubt about it.
How about this, chat? I want you guys to let us know. Who do you think is going to win the next game? Well, I ask Ashwin another surprise question. So I'll answer this as well. And if you'd like, I can answer it first. But similar to what we did last game, where I predicted that Russell Westbrook would have a 20-point triple-double, which he did not, but he had a good game. What do you have a crazy prediction for the next game? Any I don't know what the right word is, like a bold prediction or something that would be interesting or non-usual.
Okay. Let's go with like Gerald says Wolves win. That's unusual. Yeah. Let's go with Cat with 30.
I was actually gonna say Cat with 40. So only
let's go 35.
35. That's our averaged out bold prediction. Reason I say that just because last year in San Antonio was the time where he had 60 points in a game. And I don't think he could redo that, but I think he could, but I think it's possible. And with how good he played tonight, I'm just really looking forward to it now. I'm saying weird things that I don't normally say on the podcast, but
let's retract that. Not 35, but let's say Cat's an A1.
Okay, I like that. That's a pretty good one. Cat being an A1 would be unusual. Also, probably the last time he did that was probably in San Antonio last year.
Well, before we go, we have to, with bated breath, wait for JJ's prediction.
Okay, JJ.
In silence.
Bold prediction.
Here it is. Might be a bit crazy. My bold prediction is Edwards will have his first dunk of the season.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
Love it.
All right. Well, if the Timberwolves win, they go to 5-2. Not that standings at all matter. Oh, nut kick. Okay.
Damn it. I could see that happening.
Dang it. We're getting some really good bold predictions in the chat now. Amazing. Holy cow. Okay. I love that prediction. I know standings don't really matter right now. I was just going to pull them up, though, just to see where we are, see if we're in first place yet.
We're not.
We are currently in 8th. Oh, my God.
Well, I mean, look, we could easily be 4th.
We could be. That's true. Well, yeah, I guess that's
records.
True. Technically, we're tied for 5th, but yeah, wow. Okay.
If the season ended today, we're up against the Portland Trailblazers, who just lost Damian Lillard, I think.
And we'd be in the play-in game against the Golden State Warriors.
I like our chances.
We'll pretend like that didn't happen, and we'll look at that. We'll look at it another week, maybe. But anyways, your camera's calling it quits. I'm sure mine's about to as well. So, as tradition, 52 wins. Oh my gosh, 52 wins. I'm getting so distracted. Intro as the outro. Don't forget to sub. We're only a couple away. A couple people did subscribe. Yes. I don't know why I was going to say A1 from day one. But intro as the outro. See you next week.
Hey.